What if I told you that the worst day of your life could be the day heaven is watching you the most? What if I told you that losing everything does not always mean God has left you? What if I told you that your pain might not be punishment, but proof of heaven's confidence in you? There was once a man who did everything right, yet lost everything in one single day. His wealth vanished. His children died. His body broke down. His friends turned against him. His wife lost hope. Yet God never left him. This is not the story of a failure. This is the story of Job, the man who lost everything on earth, but gained honor in heaven. In a peaceful land called Uz, there lived a man named Job. Job was not famous for his power alone. He was famous for his character. The Bible says Job was blameless, upright, a man who feared God, a man who hated evil. He was the richest man in all the East. He owned thousands of sheep and camels, hundreds of oxen and donkeys. Many servants worked under him. But Job's greatest treasure was not his wealth. It was his 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters. They loved one another deeply. They held feasts together. They shared life together. And after every feast, Job would rise early, build an altar, and pray. Perhaps my children have sinned in their hearts against God. Even when his children were grown, Job still covered them with prayer. That was the kind of man he was. A praying father. A righteous servant. A man heaven trusted. One day, a conversation took place that Job never heard. In heaven, the sons of God gathered before the throne. And among them stood Satan. God asked him, "Where have you been?" Satan answered, "From roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it." Then God spoke Job's name. "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on the earth. He fears me. He hates evil." But Satan replied with accusation. "Does Job fear you for nothing? You bless him. You protect him. You hedge him. Remove what he has, and he will curse you." Heaven fell silent. Then God said, "Everything he has is in your hand, but his life you must not touch." And with that permission, the greatest test of faith in history began. It was a normal day. Job's sons and daughters were feasting in the house of their eldest brother. Then suddenly, a servant ran to Job screaming. The oxen were plowing. The donkeys were feeding. Raiders attacked. "Your servants are dead. I alone escaped." Before he finished speaking, another servant ran in. Fire fell from the sky. The sheep were burned. The servants are gone. Only I survived. Then another ran. The Chaldeans formed 3 bands. They attacked the camels. They killed the servants. Then, the last messenger entered, shaking, crying, terrified. "Your sons and daughters were eating together. A great wind struck the house. The roof collapsed. They are all dead." In one single day, Job lost his wealth. Job lost his servants. Job lost his future. Job lost all 10 of his children. The richest man became the poorest man. The joyful father became a grieving father. Silence filled the room. Then Job stood up. He tore his robe. He shaved his head. He fell to the ground. And then, he did something shocking. He worshipped God. Job said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb. Naked I shall return. The Lord gave. The Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." And the Bible says, Job did not sin. He did not charge God with wrong. Satan returned again and said, "Touch his flesh. He will curse you." God answered, "He is in your hands. But spare his life." Then pain entered Job's body. Painful boils covered him. From the top of his head to the soles of his feet. His skin cracked. Worms grew in his wounds. Fever burned his body. Job sat in ashes, scraping himself with broken pottery. Then his wife looked at him and said, "Do you still hold to your integrity? Curse God, and die." Job replied softly, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? Even in agony, even in loneliness, Job still refused to curse God. 3 friends came to see him. When they saw Job, they cried aloud. For 7 days, they sat in silence. Then they began to speak. They said, "You must have sinned. God does not punish the innocent. Confess your secret wrongdoing." But Job cried out, "I am innocent. Why is God silent?" Job questioned. Job wept. Job agonized. Yet even in confusion, he declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." And again, "I know that my Redeemer lives, and in the end he will stand upon the earth." After all the arguments, after all the tears, God finally answered Job. Out of a whirlwind, God spoke. "Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth?" God questioned him about the stars, the oceans, the lightning, the animals, the mysteries of creation. Job trembled and replied, "I spoke of things I did not understand. Now my eyes have seen you." God rebuked Job's friends. He told them, "My servant Job will pray for you." And when Job prayed for the same people who accused him, God restored him. Job received double his wealth, double his livestock, new sons, new daughters, a longer life, greater honor. Job lived 140 more years. He saw his children and grandchildren. He died full of days, and heaven recorded his name forever. Job lost everything, but he never lost God. And in the end, God gave him more than he ever lost. This should. Lessons from the story of Job. Job was righteous, yet he still suffered. This teaches us that suffering is not always a punishment. Pain does not always mean God is angry. Sometimes, trials come even when you are doing everything right. Your hardship does not mean God has abandoned you.